Naga carry. So they're going to have the Sand King Mirana combo in the side lane. It's incredibly strong. Naga versus Beast means that he's going to have to go for an Axis build, which is fine. Beastmasters do like to do that these days, although it's about 50-50 now. Naga can be left entirely alone versus Beast, basically. You just shove out the lane. Yeah, that's a solid last pick. They first picked their carry.
It's just an extra stun as well. It chains with the Ice Path, chains with the Sand King, but also it can arrow the Beastmaster creep that he dominates early on.
It can indeed. We're going to find out though. Our first third game. A lot of excitement here. Elimination on the line and some extra insight thoughts from Immortal Faith, Mr. Exerslax.
Thank you so much, Shaver. Yes, I am here with Immortal Faith yet again, sir. You have survived to get to our first BO3, Game 3. Congratulations there. In Game 1, we had Naga Slyvern coming out from OG. It wasn't that successful. Game 2, of course, we saw that fantastic storm. What changed? Are you guys ready to take out that Naga this time?
We're ready. They picked the last pick Mirana support. I think that's not the best for them. Also, we are just going to fully out-tempo them. We are going to win this game in 30 minutes.
Oh, my, he calls it. We Babe Ruthed it out there, sir. I'd ask you another question, but that's hype as hell. We wish you the best of luck, Mr. Faith, and we will throw it over to our casters. Let's get ready for game number 3.
Thank you very much, Sir Action Slash and Immortal Faith with the very bold prediction. I was not expecting that. Usually those interviews are one-word answers that sometimes don't even answer the question that was asked. I don't know if that's a common thing these days, but it seems to be the case at this TI at the very least. But very bold, under 30 minutes, Cinderin. Do you believe?
I mean, that's about half my interactions with Slacks, though. He asks me a question, and I don't really answer it because the question was bad. But that was actually a pretty good question, so I'm proud of him. I think he's improved a lot. 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I like the confidence, obviously. I think if they'd interviewed Chu, he would have been like, yeah, we'll probably find a way to win, I suppose. But Immortal Faith is a little bit more animated, a little more, you know, he makes more maybe radical predictions. I would be very impressed if Gaming Gladiators win this game in 30 minutes, but the thing I really like about hearing it is that I think that is what they should be setting out to do with this strategy, because I kind of agree with him when he says that they're going to outpace OG. I think there's portions of this game that should be happening, and then it's about whether OG can weather the storm and buy themselves enough time. Also worth noting, Amar playing... In this tournament, he's been playing Sand King a couple of times. This is not a traditional Amar hero in the sense that it's not a lane dominator. It's not a hero that scales particularly well with farm compared to a lot of other picks he has. So maybe this time around, if things do slow down a little bit, it's not as much in the bag for OG later either. Because I think carry Naga in this game is not automatically going to win this late against a mid Kunkka and a safe lane Shadow Fiend. There's plenty of AoE damage, have solutions. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And obviously, or not obviously, but honestly, more important than the strategies, how do OG bounce back from that last game? Like, we can't overlook the fact that that was a game they feel like they should have won. Do they have that mental reset backstage?
They already have a level 1 battle here. Duraccio gets off a couple nice raises, but won't result in a kill. As in terms of the actual bounty distribution, I believe it's going to be split here. It's worth still to come. Yep. But yeah, we're going to see the Invoker again come out from OG, which was obviously extremely successful in that game number 1. But and they have the Naga again, but this time it is in the carry role. So looking at their lineup, like what is their goal other than to win the game? Don't make that joke. Like what kind of a pace are they trying to set? Like they just want to stem the bleeding, which is the laning stage for them, or?
I mean, there's plenty of combination plays for OG, right? You have Sand King Mirana, as just pointed out. You have the Sunstrike. If they can make a couple of successful early skirmishes like they did in game number 1, I definitely think their mid-game can be really strong. But I would say their lineup is more dependent on being able to do that. Like, let's say nothing happens for 10 or 15 minutes. I think Gaming Gladiators have this really, really strong potential push with Tombstone, with Beastmaster, with the Shadow Fiend, and Kunkka hitting this like really strong mid-game peak. And it's their bread and butter as a team, right? This is what they were so good at earlier in the year, so you would imagine that they have the confidence to pull it off, playing this faster pace.
Yeah, but once Ace gets a couple items, Helm of the Overlord, I would assume. It's kind of feels like a bit of a death ball, where they try to get these towers relatively early, but we'll see what the pace ends up being for them. Mid lane is Boom on the Kunkka this time around versus, as we talked about, BZM's Invoker. What do you think of the Kunkka pick this game? Because a lot of these heroes have been kind of recycled throughout the series to some degree, other than Sand King, I guess, Mirana, and this Kunkka.
Yeah, it's a hero that generally does very well against Invoker, but I think Classic Sword has a much stronger laning phase against it than Class Wax does, so I would imagine his lane probably pretty much breaks even. That was one of the parts where they picked it. I think the other one was to cover their bases in case Naga goes carry, right? We have the same situations in game number 1 where OG have the ultimate last pick, so you want to make sure you don't expose yourself to having Shadow Fiend have to deal with Naga on his own in case it goes late, right? So it felt like a little bit of a very nice solution to finding a hero. They're probably like, okay, what hero can we choose that lanes well against Invoker and can help us against a potential carry Naga? And I think they made a good choice. Also, the whole pacing thing, right? I just think this lineup it's nice to look at. There's a clear story to how the heroes want to combine and get something done. So.
As the axes come out from Ace in the bottom lane, harassment continues. Again, this is game number 3, elimination match here. Winner will play the winner of the next series to come. How many OG fans we have in the house today? Okay, not bad. What about Gaming Gladiators? Oh, wow. Okay, actually more Gaming Gladiators based on my old ears, Cinderin. But good to see. Nice distribution either way.
Or maybe they were just louder.
Yeah, very, very true. The vocal minority, some would say.
Yep.
But
I'm sure they made some fans in that last game. That was a nice comeback.
I mean, you talked about the momentum potentially coming out from something like that. I mean, OG, it feels like they don't get affected by it as much as other teams that are, I mean, they're pretty young, right? But I think that storyline kind of them being affected by stuff like this kind of ended after the last major. Celery taking some heavy damage. There's the lead from Taiga. Another one. Right click to come. And he'll end up getting first blood as a result of it. As Taiga just continuing to roam on this Mirana.
Yeah, you just can't underestimate the Sunstrike factor. It's always going to be there.
Oh, Burrow Strike Sandstorm into the arrow. Even bigger kill coming out from OG in the top lane.
That was very greedy. Did he not expect the Marn to be there?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Honestly, the worst part about look at how many denies a Marn can get here, or CS that Shadow Fiend loses. Yeah. He lost a full wave. I mean, sure, Celery gets some experience here, but that is just not a good start. And, you know, Shadow Fiend Undying lane, I would pick any day against Sand King Mirana to have a good start, but just Undying being a dominant force in this lane with decays, he feels very safe, but Sunstrike is that X factor. You just can't deny that is the kind of thing that can swing this kind of lane, and OG are making use of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Arrow is balanced, right? It's hard to hit, but if you have the setup stun,
yeah,
it gets pretty scary. And Burrow's not too bad for that Ice Path as well.
If you want an arrow that you don't have to hit, you can play Gyro.
Okay, sure.
It's a lot weaker than a perfect arrow, though.
That's right. It's not as exciting, some would say.
Oh, again, top.
Yeah,
Racho. Oh, they didn't
coming out. Sunstrike not going to connect
there. Or I think Taiga didn't see the line for the arrow, so he didn't go for it. He went for the Leap Starstorm because he felt like he was going to hit a creep. Racho counting his lucky stars there. If there's an arrow connection, he's dead again. Glimpse.
Yeah, Ace. I get rid of these pesky illusions via the axes.
Yeah. And look at their inventories bottom as well. Ace with the triple mango Basilius and Tofu with the triple mango. So just really,
I mean, Ace
non-stop spamming. He does.
In the last game.
They're just spamming. Yuragi running low on that region. There's a couple of tangos left from Misha to pool. But he has to be careful himself that he doesn't get too exposed here. He would almost die to this Thunder Strike. He has Stick and Fairy. We'll have to use both, I think. The Fairy will be safe with the Tango running.
Tofu successfully dealing tons of damage as this support disruptor.
Get Ace's CS line here. 13 denies.
Got the ensnare. Sunstrike to come, and that's enough. BZM. That's going to help him in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's going to give Yuragi a bit of breathing room. He's getting crushed. He's 19-0 against Beastmaster's 34-13. So 13 denies on that Beast. Definitely has a big laning or level advantage until that Sunstrike kill comes in.
And mid lane before that point, I mean, basically even on the CS between BZM and Boom. And we'll see if BZM kind of changes the build at all, or if he's just going to go the exact same thing. I mean, obviously the Midas not too big of a surprise. And then after that, we'll see.
I think he'll do the same again, yeah.
This does not feel like a Midas Sand King game, though. I will make that prediction ahead of time.
Yeah, pretty good call.
That would be one of the worst heroes maybe to get that. Especially, he actually farms relatively fast once you get the Sandstorms up, but
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, don't you worry. Amar's going to max Sandstorm, okay? There's a limit. He's not maxing Burrow Strike.
Understood.
No way.
In terms of CS, or net worth overall,
Dire's
kind of
top tower is
averaging
under
out
attack.
right now, but like you said, Ace is kind of tipping the balance a bit in Gaming Gladiator's favor between the two offlaners right now. And
With a very fast Helm of the Dawn, this bottom lane actually becomes a lot scarier for OG. I don't think they can really afford to send their Mirana down here to do cleanup duty. Like, if you swap Mirana and Jakiro, I think your top lane is very susceptible all of a sudden. Jakiro does not perform nearly as well as Mirana against Undying Shadowfiend, so that lane swap wouldn't really be too good, I think. And Snare bottom is the stun strike
coming, but it's going to be shared, it looks like, between Tofu and Ace. Still, these axes. Glimpse now onto Uragi. He's getting very low. Have to pop the wand. The ice path used to dissuade GG from continuing on, but Taiga has TP'd in. Leap into the Starstorm. Not good enough to find a kill as Misha's taking the Thunderstrike damage from Tofu, so despite the TP coming out from OG, Gaming Gladiators are the one that gets the kill.
I'm very curious what Tofu skills
Oh,
here.
Amar in the Sandstorm. They have the vision. Has to burrow to the high ground. Like he's fine.
What does Tofu skill? He's still holding his point. There's the glimpse.
Oh,
Uraga's dead.
Ace gets credit for that one, and this bottom lane, absolute disaster for OG.
Is under attack.
This is just such a high pressure lane. Axe spam, Thunderstrike spam, Glimpse now dealing damage. I think perhaps the mindset that people have when they see Disruptor picks where they're like, this is a position 5, is a little bit outdated, because now that Glimpse deals damage, I think he offers a lot more in offensive duel lanes. Which is really... It's not insignificant. If you're ahead in the lane and you force enemies away and you get that extra 150, 200 damage that you didn't use to. And also keep in mind this hero with farm. I would argue Disruptor scales pretty well. He has an insane axe. He has really good talents. Like, don't count this out as a potential 4-pick later in the tournament as well.
Going to be seen here. There's the dust. He is X'd up as well. Torrent to follow, and the raise tries to time it, but can't. As Boom gets credit for that one. Nice arrow from Taiga taking out a creep, but still, this feels like Gaming Gladiators' pace at the very least. They're finding the more valuable kills overall. We'll see, in terms of the mid lane, obviously we've seen the Kunkka kind of participate already. BZM with the Midas now in tow. Once he gets the Boots of Travels, I assume that's his go time to get a little bit more involved with the team. Wow, that was a lot of neutrals instantly. Yeah, that sound was quite aggressive.
Okay, Uragi just gonna find Ace here. Couldn't snare Sunstrike this.
Yep, they're gonna attempt to up.
Oh, nice block on the arrow. With the
They're
port.
not gonna connect, but they still have so much damage to work with, and Ace drops to BZM. It's the second time this game.
Yeah, this is gonna come at the cost of Amar being in struggle city up top. Like, Shadowfiend has a firm control of this lane. He's completely alone on that Sand King, and even Boom was still fishing for an extra kill, but Amar with a good defensive ward had that vision and information.
Bottom tower is under
Get
attack.
caught. Arrow.
Coming in, but the creep wave arrived. But the ice path connects. Boom. Getting cold snap into the meteor, but we see the static storm place to zone them out, and it's gonna be enough.
Alright, so I think
Get Boom away.
spell accuracy there was not the highest percentage. The static storm hit.
TP bottom, runner. Just run, block with your ball. Something coming. Good shit, bro. Good shit.
I heard Celery say something towards the end.
I think Tofu said good shit, bro. Good shit, didn't he?
I thought that was Celery.
No.
Very positive team, though, I will say. I like listening on their comments. Game pretty even, though. Let's talk about the eventual Roche to come, Sundar. You know, I love these conversations. Yeah. There's two aspects to it. One is killing Roche and how fast, and the other is team fighting in that area.
Yeah, the fastest kill will go to Gaming Gladiators, I think, unless Naga is very farmed. Even with Alacrity and Boker factored in, you have Shadowfiend, that Beastmaster, just two of the really good heroes at killing the Roche. together with obviously Flesh Golem, Tombstone, everything. But the team fight around it is more tricky to call, right? Both teams have so much to work with. There's the Naga song into destroying Tombstone. That's an option for OG. You have tons of combinations if enemy heroes stack up between Sand King and Invoker. But then you also have something we haven't really talked about in general. We don't talk about that much with Kunkka. I think Ghost Ship is really important in this game. I think damage mitigation, whenever you're playing against a lineup that has this much like one-shot burst, the Ghost Ship can really make a difference. They're going to find Yuragi. No song skilled. He is done.
Gets hit. Dyrachyo even priming his ult. Not even needing it though because the Static Storm is placed with the raises in addition. More than enough damage to take out Yuragi. See if they go for this tier 1 tower, but OG, they've come.
They glimpse the second away!
Blink Dagger comes out as well from Amar as Dyrachyo is getting very low. Will drop inside the Macro Pyre. It's going to be a trade for the Jakiro though. As Taiga able to leap out, but still inside that kinetic field as they end up taking out BZM on the sideline here. And 4 dead overall in favor of Gaimin. They lose the Shadow Fiend, but still.
Such a good play from Tofu. That is so crucial that he finds that there. Sand King with the blink reveal, blink epicenter stun, instantly glimpse to the top lane. You're going to see it here. So gets this initiation. He sees him there. He gets the glimpse while the ult is channeling. So only the burst strike comes out. And sure, you get the Shadow Feed for it, but that's everything thrown away. Gets sent to the top lane and doesn't have that second burrow strike that could have really cemented this fight potentially for OG. They get punished big time and lose the mid tower. That's huge. Dyrachyo's like, damn it, but good job, guys.
We've seen a few of those in this series for sure.
Yeah. Shadow Fiend is very susceptible to getting blown apart by this spell combo that OG has, and they do showcase it there. But the cast around him, it feels good when you're playing Shadow Fiend and you can die first and win the fight. Because a lot of the time this hero is sitting on so much of your team's net worth and he's somewhat frail, and you know, you get punished really hard. At that time he wasn't even needed. He just sponged up damage in his teammate's house.
Oh, we have the gank here coming out from OG, and they're going to find themselves, boom, gets off his Ghost Ship, but to no avail here.
BZM with a tip, missing the arrow on the Sand King stun.
Doesn't need it. But they do see this juicy stack, and be a little bit of a slow one, but we have the glimpse top lane, Static Link, and the Roar expended. Looks like BZM is going to tick out here one way or the other. Amar able to TP top. We might find a trade on Tofu, but see Celery in his Flesh Golem form. It's that Soul Rip available, and Dyrachyo's come to play as well. You can see the Tombstone dealing a huge amount of slow here.
Oh, nice from Amar there.
Find another kill in favor of Gaimin.
Well done. Dodges,
tier 1 tower.
Dodges the glimpse with Burrow Strike. One of the only mobility spells in the game that can do that. If not the only, actually. It has to be a short list. If you time it, the way it works is that...
Storm Spirit.
Yeah, Ball Lightning. No? I don't think you can with Ball Lightning.
Really?
So Burrow Strike is really special because like you actually technically do get glimpsed back, but then it takes your end point of the Sand King stun. So you want to cast it so that you begin the animation as you're getting glimpsed back, but you finish the animation after you have returned to the glimpse position. That makes sense. So it's a pretty narrow window. Nicely done from Mars.
They're going for the kill onto Boom again. The arrow Sunstrike combo as well. Tofu, he has to walk away knowing that Boom will likely fall again in the same area.
They almost didn't have enough in the tank there, but just enough. Another 100 health on Kunkka could have made a huge difference there. Glimpse. Really,
they're still guarding the enemy Ancients, and finally they will attempt it. Amar, they have the vision here, obviously, as Gaimin Gladiators. We'll see if they try to contest. I mean,
Gaimin they don't really see that much here.
Yep, the axes come out. Had a couple of those, but a lot of these are going the way of Amar.
Oh, he steals the dragon. Taiga's going to run it.
And the Roar coming into a well. And Taiga inside that fireball.
I can tell you with 100% confidence, I would have done the exact same thing there and died. That was a black dragon with 100 health that Ace took over. He leaps to try to arrow and kill it. It gets soul ripped by Undying, who's randomly there in the fog. And no way out.
A Roshan. Tombstone is down as Gaimin. They're feeling it right now.
This is is where their lineup really comes online. And you gotta say, Immortal Faith, you have 14 minutes left. So you gotta start
That's quite the
pushing
timer.
here.
BZM would be a very big kill. Thunderstrike giving them some vision. Glimpse back into the static storm, attempting to TP out, but Boom is here, bow and all. They get the Aegis, they get a high value kill. Gaming Gladiators looking extremely good now in this game number 3.
Yeah, they also defend their mid tower still. Remember, this tower did get to half health quite a while ago, I believe, and just haven't been able to finish it off. And this is when things can get really scary for a lineup like the Radiant. Naga needs time. She's not ready yet. She has a Manta only. The enemy team has Home of the Overlord, Tombstone, level 2 only for now, but Taiga, lead. That's not a good glimpse, but it's good enough.
It's dealing damage now. It doesn't matter anymore.
That's true.
He just wants to get an assist. Wait, did you get an assist back in the day when it didn't do damage?
I think so, yeah. I think it's...
Well, Amar has been in the enemy ancient area for seemingly the last 10 minutes, it feels like.
Yeah.
Very comfortable here.
Tower is under attack.
You're just going to have to give up these towers. I think, realistically speaking, OG might just lose their entire tier 2 line here, because Shadowfiend has 4 minutes on the Aegis. The team fight is extremely terrifying to take into Tombstone, Hawk Vision, Helm of the Overlord, Dragon. It's just too much, right? I don't think they can really solve it. The question
They're
is,
gonna force the fortification.
what do you do about this one?
Yeah.
Immortal Faith.
Immortal Faith.
He gave them maybe too much of a buffer. Maybe should have said 20 minutes.
That's right.
There's the X.
Tier 3 already at half HP. Torrent connects, but they're just doing the damage to the tower right now.
2/3 of it down.
Absolutely.
And he didn't use Tombstone yet. They still have that for the next wave. They could honestly consider this. The stakes are really high, though.
Assuming that a bunch of TPs maybe came in the fog, but
yeah, but you
play it safe here.
There's honestly the possibility that you can choose not to care there. There's a pretty big difference between OG's lineup in this game and the previous in game 1 when they had the Monkey King.
The Moonlight Shadow coming out. Boat is coming though. Looks like Taiga's gonna be the recipient of that again, and 2 supports likely to fall right off the bat for OG. 5v3 advantage. Tofu, never mind. He's the support to fall for game, and now Yuragi's gonna be found out though. This will be a huge kill. Song ends up resetting for OG. This should open up Gaming Gladiators' way to just push down the mid lane potentially, but Amar's thinking the same thing. Takes out the next wave.
Yep. Managed to cut that. This is pretty crucial for him, buying that time. I think if he doesn't do that, that tower's gone. So, good job there. Effectively delaying the game so BZM can close in on a BKB, and Yuragi surviving there also very important. But you're seeing the pace that Gaming Gladiators can put with this lineup. It's very, very quick. And are they actually going now? All right. That's good enough for them. No song.
Yep, that's a big spell down for sure. 2 minutes on the Aegis still. Macropyre's there. Arrow connects. Can they get the first life from Duraccio? He's going to get Soul ripped back to a respectable amount of HP. And looks like they might just be setting their sights on the tier 2 mid instead here.
And in the meantime, BZM solos the bot tier 2 towers Invoker, opening up outpost possibilities.
Oh, that arrow could not go anywhere. Doesn't matter though.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And remember, coming into this series, I believe the stat was in the last year or so, 17 and 4
yes.
OG's favor.
Yeah.
Is that series or games?
Games.
That is absurd. And now we're on game number 3, brink of elimination for each team.
This would be the right time for Gaming Gladiators to finally get a win again.
Right, we talked about it before game 1. That's a lot of learning opportunities.
Yeah,
every loss is a learning opportunity for sure. And with only a minute left on the Aegis, not sure if they can go for the last tier 2. We'll see how Gaming can play this.
Might want to burn it top. Like, I think you really...
To get that tier 3?
Yeah, I think you take the risk here. Okay, maybe not mid.
Oh, the initiation on Ace. He's dead right off the bat. Does have the buyback. I'm not sure if he wants to expend it, though. X into the Torrent. There's the big Requiem to follow, but doesn't really connect on much. Taiga does go down to the right click, but that's still a support for your off lane. Epicenter from Amar. Sunstrike to follow. Trying to take out the support on the Disruptor. They're going to get the Undying first, though. Static Storm not on a whole lot as Duraccio pops the BKB. Trying to stand his ground. He gets a double kill for himself now, but the BKB has run out. The song connects along with the Ice Path. That's life number 1. Torrent to try to slow this down, but Duraccio looks to be completely surrounded, and he's going to be brought down by OG. Toku somehow lives, despite basically being the one initiated on his boom. He's going to get tornadoed. Now blocked up by BZM. Doesn't look like they have much more catch to follow, though.
That is honestly the dream for OG, the way that played out. They killed Beastmaster first at no cost. Like, that is Ace just being a bit out of position. They were fighting over more than they could chew, right? Shadowfiend was already looking to go and hit top, and in the meantime, Beastmaster was pushing the mid wave with his body instead of just the summons. And Amar just pounced on that opportunity immediately, and they get themselves a huge defend, because not only do they kill that Beastmaster and win the fight, they end up saving their top tier 3 by going aggressive in mid. I think if Gaming Gladiators connect top with all their heroes, they drop their tombstone, and the 1 minute Aegis is live on the Shadowfiend, the bare minimum is that they get the tier 3. And they could have maybe got a lane of racks with any sort of good team fight. Now the Aegis ended up going completely to waste. All that is from one moment.
Well, they did get a bunch of towers.
Yeah.
Damage to tier 3.
It was more in
that moment.
In the context of what was happening there. But you're technically correct, so I can appreciate that. Good job. Yeah.
Shout out to Syndra.
Yeah. For appreciating. Shout out to me.
Yeah, pretty even game, and we are a little bit less than 8 minutes away from the timer that Immortal Faith put on the team.
Yeah, clock's seriously ticking right now, but I think...
I mean, what's the real clock, do you think? Like, when do they... Is there actual timer like, okay, this is too late now? They do have some scaling options.
I don't think so, as long as Kunkka goes the right items. I think Gaming can even win this game at 60. But I do think it gets trickier and trickier, to be honest. So this second Aegis, I would say, if that goes the way of OG, I have them all the way. If it goes the way of Gaming Gladiators, they have another good moment of opportunity. Gonna find Celery here.
Yeah, Burrow and all the setup in the world for the old Sunstrike.
I don't think it gets much hotter than that in the Dota universe. You got Macrofired and Sunstruck at the same time. That's a lot of Fahrenheit.
A little bit later is Duraccio, Requiem coming. Not able to dodge with the mirror image, but looks like the Naga will get away anyway. Only half HP is the Shadow. Keeping cover. Nice Burrow strike on the 2 from Amar. Epicenter to follow. Sunstrike as well. And Ace is dead again. And only Duraccio and Bloom left. The ensnare keeps the Shadowfiend in place, and it's looking like the death of him as well. The meatball surprise brings him to his knees. Double kill for BZM, and OG now back in the driver's seat.
Really, really good spell casting, and killer instinct there from Amar. Finds both setups just perfectly done. Recognizes what he can do, and again, Ace on the Beastmaster gets nothing off. He has BKB. He's actually really farmed on the Beast. He's the highest net worth in his team, as usual, almost. With Helm of the Overlord BKB, doesn't matter if you get Burrow struck and full-on burst comboed. So, this right here, when this fails, you have to hard disengage. But they're sticking around. You see they're kind of like going back and forth. They're uncertain what to do, and that Burrow strike right there just seals the deal. Ace gets blown up, full-on spell comboed. They even have that ensnare from the side to boot. Just beautiful Dota from OG, just finding the angles and the right kicks when they're given the opportunity. And all of a sudden, now this looks pretty damn good for Gaming Gladiators. This move, I dare say, this move has to work. If this works and they get Roche, they can kind of stabilize. If it fails again, Naga is starting to reach critical mass soon.
Yeah, we can see the Roche timer is pretty damn late this time around, so... yeah, I agree. The second Roche is a requirement for game, and it feels like. Both sides smoking, though. It's Boom showing himself in the enemy triangle. In the cover of these illusions, Amar and try to initiate Taiga.
Oh, he only found the one-man stun.
Ace again getting locked down. Sunstrike to follow again. Pops his BKB finally. There's the Primal Roar now on top of Amar. Still with the BKB, but you're gonna see Requiem from the sideline. Not quite enough to take out Amar here. But the axe out, he gets out of that as well. Amar, slippery man.
They still have vision on him for
They do. Finally comes back. Double kill for Toku.
That's a gem.
That's true. Gem drops. Unfortunately for Gayman, Roche not up anytime soon.
Dude, if I'm honest with you, the game could have almost... I'm not going to say the game could have ended there, but Amar did not find the stun of his dreams there. He actually had a 3-man lineup, but he only hit the first guy. I think didn't manage to click on the back hero in that stun and just ends up getting only one here.
Wow.
Look at that potential stun combo into Ice Path. They literally just wipe them out if that lands on 3 heroes, but instead, Ace gets to play for once in this team fight. Huge impact there with the Roar, obviously ultimately leading to the same kill, and they've already killed the Mirana, so...
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Could have been the stun of his dreams. It's still not terrible, right? Like, you still have decent control, you didn't lose Roche.
Yeah.
BZM, he needs to keep in mind the enemy team has the gem.
Yeah, they seem more scared of him than vice versa.
The gem is on Tofu, though, and he's not frontlining, so they didn't see BZM run up there. It's pretty bold, honestly, to do that in that situation as Invoker. I mean, yeah, you have BKB, but...
Duracio's going to get X back. Able to defend this easily, though. It's a nice benefit.
Yeah, and they're going to keep the Roche control. 20 seconds to go now.
Indeed. Roche number 2, so very important.
What do you give a shard to if you get enough game in here? Shadow,
Probably Beastmaster.
Do you think that's better than Nessa?
He has it already.
Dire's
I think,
tower is under
despite
attack.
that, probably Shadow, right? Yeah, I guess so. I don't think Tidal Wave is worth it.
Are
Probably
fortified.
not. And they're just sitting in the pit, but you can see the smoke down from OG. They are ready for this potential fight here. And Roche has begun. They're going to hop the drums. They really want to get this quickly, but OG are here. Sunstrike's going to give them some vision. There's the Burrow Strike epicenter as well. Into the Ice Path and Macro Pyre. Massive damage being applied. Finally, the BKBs come out. Duraccio with a massive Requiem for himself. He's just going for the Roche, but he's going to get used. BZM takes the Aegis. OG gets the Roche as well. And now they're going to try to turn this around out to Duraccio with no BKB anymore. Massive fight for OG. And the Ice Pack clips Ace, who has to BKB TP. He'll be fine, but OG winning this fight and getting the Roshan. I didn't see if they got the shard, but I assume yes.
Was
Looks
that-
like BZM took it.
I think that was a tornado from BZM, by the way. It wasn't a Yule, right? They don't have a Yule.
Oh, yeah,
They just
maybe.
literally just clutched it out. Perfect spell casting there. And Amar... Oh, Amar has a Yule. It might have been his. Never mind. But crazy.
Now they're going high ground.
Sunstrike was so key there. They really needed that Sunstrike vision.
Look at that damage. Celery dying in his own base.
This is going really fast all of a sudden.
Yep, tier 3 is down, and now the focus onto the mid-racks.
Gaming Gladiators in a hurry. They have 1 minute, 15 seconds left to win the game. Immortal Faith.
Immortal Faith!
You got to rally the troops here, straight down mid, for your prediction to come true.
Now with a 9K lead for OG.
It's crazy.
Good for them.
Like, honestly, that pit fight, if they don't have Sunstrike, I don't think OG win that fight. I think they
Just for the vision?
They absolutely needed this vision. It gives Amar the certainty that he can epi burrow these 2 heroes before they BKB. I mean, this is so hard to decide in the moment. I think...
Let's see.
No, I don't even know what you do. You have no idea when the pounce is coming. It's Gaming Gladiators, right? You just don't know when to pop BKBs. Man. Good stuff from OG there. Get themselves a 10K lead and an Aegis on Invoker. And at this point, with how their lineup works and what they're set out to do, it looks like Gaming Gladiators need to do some pretty massive outplaying in the come team fight to fight 2 lives Invoker with Blink, Hex, BKB.
Yep, it's going to be a tough one, no doubt about it. And we haven't even discussed Yuragi too much this game, but he has a Scotty Manta Butterfly and working on hard next. He is going to be tough to bring down for sure.
And I think the problem here is Boom is going Hex, right? And it's a lot of the time on Kunkka, this is a good item in the slot.
I want to play here, guys. Tank illusion. Aurus. They're Roche. Yeah. I got my Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I tanked it. Super low, guys.
I will spot SF. I will spot SF.
Rush. Get it. Come. Yeah, I want to play here, guys. Tank
Very calm. I would have been screaming. Something like that. But we're going to see a smoke from both sides. They're going to collide immediately. The Burrow Strike onto 2. Undying deleted. Ace and Boom able to get off their BKBs, though, in mass for the entirety of Gaming Gladiators. In fact, now they might have to back off as Ace able to get the correct Naga Siren with the Roar. But this is all in a defensive measure. Gaming on the run. Duraccio trying to Satanic back up to a healthy amount. It's a good amount of damage, but Ace is dead, and now the Ice Path connects. And this is looking very, very bad for Game Man as they lose their Shadow Fiend as well.
to look more and more like a formality of just going down the lane and getting lane of barracks now for OG. They have 50 seconds on the Shadow Fiend. Without that hero, Game Gladiators can't fight. And what I was getting at is that you're going Hex on Kunkka, which a lot of the time is good here, but the problem is you don't have the damage against anymore. Good tornado timing.
That's very nice timing. EMP is going to connect. Triple meteor thanks to the shard. BZM not going to pursue any further. But Yuragi finds himself a celery.
Yeah, he was trying to delay things bottom by cutting out this wave. BZM has the edges, so he doesn't really care if he gets killed here. To be honest, he wants the mana back, so he's just going to go and hit the tower.
Indeed. And they're pressuring the bottom tower as well with Yuragi and all his illusions. Tier 3 top falls. As Boom still trying to defend. Tornado comes out. The BZM still, like you said, that age is still in tow here. And he's going to jump in. It's off the cold snap and the ice wall, just buying some time. And finally, the Aegis gets expended as Yuragi is going to be taking out the bottom racks in the meantime. But Static Storm, Ghost Ship is coming, and the roar on top of it, and they do get BZM.
Wait.
A lot of damage being applied to all these buildings, but no racks quite yet. Song in retreat. And still the melee racks alive in the bottom lane with 200 HP.
How the hell did Tofu know the Static Storm there? There was 1 second cooldown on the BKB on Invoker at the end of that kill.
Oh, he probably just did it.
They just felt it, you know? They're like, in my mind, when Invoker plays like that, oh, he has BKB for the second life, you know?
Right.
But they actually took the chance that, on the off chance that he doesn't have it ready yet, we get the kill there, and they did. That was really surprising to me that they find that kill on BZM and effectively defend all 3 lanes. They've lost all the towers, though. Literally everything is just ripe for the taking, but that was pretty crazy. And yeah, okay, I like this from Boom. He deviated from the Hex. I think he realizes they need more damage. Like, the Naga illusions are too big of a problem. They have 4k health. He has to be able to deal some more AoE cleave. He's going now for the Silver Edge, which is a good connection item. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing him going Rapier after that if we get to that point instead of Hex. I think you're in that territory now where you have to take huge risks in order to pull it off.
I mean, how good is Rapier these days on him? I mean, with all the changes that have been made in the last few years.
I think it's pretty solid when you have the Silver Edge.
Well, BZM
is going to pick up Hex very soon. Needs another few hundred gold.
Yeah, he's getting close to Lincoln's.
Did I say Hex? I meant Lincoln's.
That's fine. We're on the same page, Cinder.
Yep, we agree. He's buying item.
You can speak gibberish, and I'll translate for everybody.
Double damage.
Almost on KP on Duracho.
Yuragi.
Radiant are scanning.
That was a joke I'm just going to ignore. Nope, the leap out. No connection quite yet, but the glimpse finally comes in. Able to get the vision at the last moment as Taiga gets dropped. But OG not afraid. They want to continue on. Amar able to get the 1 with the Burrow Strike. Requiem, kind of the zoning. Oh, they pop the BKBs to try to get away from the song. Kind of an awkward engagement overall. I know, but the Ice Path connects onto 2. Tornado to follow. So both supports controlled right now as Misha trying to outrun this Triceratops and zombies as he gets destroyed by a hawk, it looked like. Triple meteor now as BZM just playing with his food. Not able to land that ghost ship, so BZM finds the distance.
Now that would be an interesting team fight to have the True Sight audio on. Because like, go back. I don't know, I'm out, guys, I'm still here. Okay, I'm coming in from the side. OG did not seem like they were on the same page with what they were trying to accomplish with that song. It kind of, I mean, it's one of those moments where you might have a really good idea as one player, and then one thing you're counting on from someone else, they're a little bit too far away or whatever, and you end up like walking back and forward. Considering how that was looking, I think getting out with 2 support deaths is probably pretty decent for them. Because that could have got really scary if they had chosen to commit a little bit too much. So end up settling for that relatively minor loss, and I think it's time for both teams to start having a look at good old Stone Guy. Spawn timer obviously not known to the teams. We know it.
Bit of a late one again.
But it is the area to play on the map now, for sure. I actually think the biggest concern for Gaming Gladiators right now is how do they deal with BZMs and Goku now against Lincolns. I actually think it's really, really tough for them to solve this hero with the heroes that they have available right now. He's creating insane amounts of space. He's forcing them to use BKBs, and they can't really go on him first unless they get sort of really clean way to break the Lincolns. Like, you can X-Mark or glimpse into Roar, but it's just very, very hard. He's so fast. You need to have vision. Not easy at all. And he keeps pushing in this bottom lane, constantly forcing rotation. That time it was Kunkka with the X-Mark. He can't do that again.
BKB now up for Yuragi. And of course, he's had the heart for a little bit now, and at this point, he is running out of room in his inventory. I guess the treads can go, potentially. I don't know about the old Aghanim Scepter this game, but we'll see. Moonlight Shadow. Sentries immediately placed. Boars have died, thanks to the Aghanim Scepter via the arrow. Of course, he's had the heart for a little bit now, and very tense here. This could be the final fight for a game, and if it goes poorly for them.
They decide to send in the Thunderhide.
Yeah, Triceratops gets the ward successfully. Getting soul ripped now. The fight between Triceratops and Demon going the way of Demon with alacrity.
Yeah, but now they have a wolf.
Yeah, the wolf is very powerful. It's from another dimension.
As evolution has shown, the stronger pet. Okay.
Oh, nice sidestep by the wolf. Gaining intelligence via evolution.
They do have the good vision here actually placed, which could give them a moment of opportunity. They see a lot of heroes right now. Now they don't. Okay.
Back. This is all about when Roche is up, and obviously the vision for Gaiman with the Hawk potentially here playing a big role. And let's see if it's the Ags. It's Refresher Shard. All right.
Good on Invoker though.
It is very good. Just less exciting. Let's be real. Aghanim Scepter's cool.
I don't know. I feel like on Invoker Shard is pretty exciting.
Very good, like I said. Wolf is still alive in case you're wondering.
Yep.
The Hawks have been spawned. Surely there's going to be sentries in the area, yeah, with the dual breath. Idea that he's here.
Horde Spirit's really important there, actually, giving us some much needed information.
Amar, the Tombstone comes out, so that cancels the Blink Dagger, but here's the song just to kill Tombstone. See if they can turn this around on top. The Ice Path connects onto Celery. Thoraccio gets off the Requiem as well, but it doesn't really connect on much. Ace gets the blink up and a nice double burrow from Amar. Inside this kinetic field are two members of OG. They find the first support, so 1-for-1 to start. Buybacks galore, though, as Thoraccio trying to right-click his way out of this, but he is not doing anything, it feels like. The Death Requiem comes out. Ace and the rest of Gaiman on the run. Epicenter. Well, Amar, all right, blinks to the high ground. On the other side of the ice wall, and it looks like this is going to be the death of Boom at the very least. OG trying to clean up even more as Ace on the high ground, being slowed to a crawl and being brought down again. And OG in prime position to move on here in the lower bracket of TI11.
Yeah, if they were to just push now, they would get Megas. There's two cores without buyback on Gaiman, but they will get the Roche first. Keep it safe. They're not over-rotating for the Roche, though. They're doing it with two heroes and leaving a little bit of a cheese for fun here, letting it ferment for later, then it heals more.
That's right. That's how it works.
Tastes better, too, which is not unimportant. Top racks are gone.
The creeps will take care of it. And onto the mid lane, OG goes. Tofu trying to stem the bleeding, but I feel like they might just have to give up the Megas and try to fight outside of that. Because they don't have these heroes up quite a while. Plenty of time for OG to try to finish this right here, right now. The Burrow Strike onto the Disruptor. Does have buyback, though. Cellar's going to be spotted in the trees. Tornado not going to connect. Along with the Sunstrike as well. Looks like he'll make it back into the fountain as the song being used to control them. Ice Path. Oh, BKB from Thoraccio, but if you have to use that next to your fountain, that's probably good news for OG. Glimpse back on a Taiga, but the Mega Creeps have come. The zoning is successful. Trying to focus that. Beautiful Burrow Strike from Amar. Ice Path to fall, but Thoraccio with the Requiem from a good distance here, but they're really just working on the illusions. That's what's taking so long. And again, OG 4 minutes on the Aegis. Now we have the Deafening Blast. The 6 meteors come out, burning them in their own fountain. Epicenter to follow. Gaming Gladiators will fall as OG will move on. The last remaining member of Gaiman, but he's going to die inside the fountain as GGs are called. So Gaming Gladiators, a great year overall, but eliminated
spicy. If you think back 15-20 minutes ago, that looked like OG could have easily been on the ropes with one good top push. Gaming Gladiator's strategy was not far from being successful in what it was trying to accomplish with that first Roche, but that one moment where they have Beastmaster caught mid, it snowballs into 4 OG kills. They keep building their advantage. Since then, they get the next Roche, and then they just clean up. That's how it is when you play these risky lineups. And I'm not going to say Gaming Gladiators, they were all in and they lost at that one moment. It was still possible to recover, but OG just had amazing jumps from Amar after that, and BZM again on that Invoker just crushing. Really, really impressive stuff from OG to also keep cool after the last game, right? Like you said,
mentioned, like a game and a half in, it looked like it was just going to be a 2-0 for OG.
Yeah.
And Game In really showed a lot of life. They made a great comeback in that game number 2, and then game 3 it started out, like you said, in their favor. But unfortunately for them, it just wasn't enough. Let's go to the panel and see what they have to say about this series that OG just won.
Thank you very much, Sunspan and Cinder, and indeed, congratulations to OG. They move forward, and what a game to do it in as well. It was pretty clutch there, because before 20 minutes, we did have Gaming Gladiator knocking on that tier 3 tower on the side of OG, but they couldn't do it in the end. I'm joined by Jenkins, Effie, and Lacoste, and we're going to break the game down, and obviously also say goodbye to Gaming Gladiators. Effie, this third and deciding game, tenacity from OG in here.
Absolutely, but also just the ability to cut waves gave them so much, because when it looked like they were going for that early end on GG and they were just going down mid, going down bottom, that one looked pretty decisive. They were able to kill one wave with Jakiro's Malcampire, and of course they were cutting waves with the Sand King, and the Sand King actually never got caught doing it, and when he found the opportunity, they were able to get that really important kill on the Beastmaster, and then Misha with the beautiful double ice slap into Malcampire, just so much perseverance, so much trust in each other, and it was really great to see, honestly.
So many times throughout this game we've seen either 2-man ice path or 2-man burrow. Every single time, Amar, like, he's so patient. This is like patience from Zoe, pretty much, where he waits for so long and then just gets in the perfect initiation. I don't think you can ask for anything better. And this last pick, Piranha, actually worked out amazingly for them, because you have so much setup, whether it's a Sanking, whether it's a net, even an ice path, anything from Invoker, and BZM had extremely good game on Invoker one more time. Like, he's just a different beast on a hero.
But OG just played the macro game so well in this game and in the first.
Wow.
That is so sweet.
Super wholesome.
But yeah, in this game and in the game 1, it really felt like they were in a position to just get run over by Gladiator's early aggression kind of style, but they were able to just play the map in a way that unraveled Gaming Gladiators. And when things started to go wrong for them on GG, it felt like they didn't stop going wrong. They never really pulled themselves back together. Maybe they got 1 or 2 key kills or key pickups here, but for the most part, once they stumbled, they lost their footing completely.
By the way, guys, No-Tail was officially right.
Okay.
This OG is now guaranteed to at least get the same placement as the last OG at TI, or better, of course, if they continue going. We've seen them do lower bracket runs, so looks like rebuilding this roster from scratch with a bunch of newbies turned out to be a pretty good decision.
Yeah, a bunch of newbies turned out to be pretty good at this old Dota game. Also, of course, want to shout out to Gaming Gladiators. They exit here as the first team from their region. They have had a decent year, of course, starting off very strong as well in the Western European region as a fresh squad, just like OG did. But in the end, Lacoste, any final words on them?
Yeah, this was a team that was formed from players that did not manage to find a team, and they did amazing. Like, this is something that everyone got surprised by, because first DPC tour they did extremely well and they set the meta pretty much, and this is the team that has a very bright future. I think they did maybe lack a little bit of experience on lands, but this is how you start, and bright future ahead of them for sure. Yeah, they have the respect of like every single pro team out there for sure. We saw it throughout the year, like people were copying them. They completely set the meta, so for their first year in the limelight, I'd say say they should be pretty happy with themselves.
And they made it to main stage TI. They accomplished a lot. They had a really good year, and for all of those fans who may have been thinking or calling them a one-patch team, I hope that they can eat their words now, because that was a great series, the best one we've had on the main stage and the most close one so far, so just kudos to them, and that was a pleasure to watch.
It was an absolute pleasure to watch. There can, of course, only be one champion. In a match like this, OG, they do move forward, and they also are a fresh team, and, you know, we're talking about them as if they are more veteran than Gaming Gladiators, but I do want to point out that there are two players on the team that are the youngest two players playing at this international. So I'm familiar, by the way, of a lower bracket run with the youngest player on the team in it.
EG?
Team Spirit last year had the same.
That was like Sumel and.
Okay, well, okay, that was a very long time ago, and I think they went through the upper bracket in that time actually. But yeah, youngest players on tournaments traditionally, they have had some success, because Sumel, indeed, youngest of all time, and of course last year as well with Team Spirit. But OG looking very hot here, and they move forward. They also came back from a loss, and I think that, Jenkins, is something that is very difficult to experience and come out on top of.
Who came back from a loss? I was thinking
OG.
OG. Okay, I was thinking of a stat that I was like, well, did OG start in the upper bracket? Okay, they did, because no starting in lower bracket team has ever won TI before, but plenty of teams have started upper, get knocked down to the lower, and then make it all the way to the top. So it does look like the trajectory for that storyline is there. And I totally forgot your question.
It's all good. It is said. We of course Uragi had a rough second game, and we talked about, did you just have to be able to reset and go forward, and he definitely did in game number 3 as well. And Uragi is also the person that is standing by with Casey for a winner's interview.
Uragi, congratulations. How are you feeling after coming back in game 3?
That was great feeling. We had a really great reset after game 2. Some things went wrong, but we were able to reset ourselves and come back.
Misha hasn't been able to play with you the last couple of big tournaments. What is it like having him back?
I mean, it's amazing. You know, it's our captain, our soul of the team, and it's great working with him.
All right, who do you want to face next? We got Liquid or Entity, depending on how the games go this afternoon.
I would say Entity.
All right, how come?
Just more fun to play them, and I got some PTSD after the 3-hour pause against Liquid. To be honest.
Anything you want to say to the fans?
Thank you. Thanks everyone. This crowd is amazing, and thanks for everyone supporting.
All right, well, congratulations again, and we will see you again soon. Back to you guys.
You know, Uragi actually made the smart play. You know, you've got all these players shaving their head. He came in bald. He already got the power. He's good to go, and he's good to go through that lower bracket to find their matchups. Either Team Liquid or Entity. He prefers to face Entity, and indeed, we do remember a 3-hour pause in between the series or during the series that he had with Team Liquid, and we are gonna find out who their opponent is very soon, because Team Liquid and Entity, those two teams, they are coming onto the stage. Next, we're gonna have another best of 3 on our hand, our last elimination matchup today. Always a little bit of extra spice on elimination. Let's bring our first team out on stage.